Now, how about we talk about it now?
I think we should talk about it right now. Let's talk about it now.
So this is what's happening. Next summer, we've got 3 big movies coming up. The Amazing Spider-Man, the reboot of the Spider-Man franchise at Sony. The Avengers, which is the culmination of 5 or 6 movies with Marvel Studios coming together into the big deal.
And now they're getting Wolverine back too, right?
No, he's still with Fox. And then we've got.
But they had the X-Men back,
which is the no, they don't. Dark Knight Rises is the sequel to one of the biggest movies of all time, Dark Knight. So all 3 of those are coming out, and it's a big deal. All 3 of them are potentially huge. And I'm thinking the Avengers is going to be the best one.
I hope so.
The Dark Knight Rises is doing just some weird things, like the way Bane looks. This whole concept that Batman
I'm not sure
has
about
been
that.
missing or disappeared. None of what I've seen so far fills me with any hope. That said, however, there is a lot of elements that we are not seeing so far in the filming reports or the promotional material. That's Catwoman. That will sway.
I mean, Anne Hathaway in a leather cat suit, I'm okay with.
Yeah. And then after Catwoman, there's the concept that Ra's al Ghul and Talia al Ghul are going to play a part. They hired a young actor to play young Ra's al Ghul. Whether that
I think that's going to be flashback stuff.
That could be a flashback.
But I have heard Talia al Ghul may be playing a part in it, which I would be totally cool with.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good stuff that could help save it, but at the moment, Dark Knight Rises is losing stock instead of gaining it after a teaser and a bunch of promotional pictures come out. I will say that The Amazing Spider-Man, I'm on the fence about it. I've gone both ways. It's kind of frustrating that they're doing a full origin again. I don't think they need to. I think they could have just picked up with Spider-Man as Spider-Man and everyone would have been fine with it. It could be a mistake. The saving grace for that is it looks like they're doing a new thing, different things with the origin. Maybe Peter Parker's parents aren't dead. Maybe Uncle Ben doesn't die in the first 5 minutes. They could be doing some interesting stuff. So that's interesting. And then the Avengers, which just looks amazing. We're putting together these characters who all have had their own movie now. Hulk, Thor, Captain America.
Mark Ruffalo's taken over for Thor.
And Mark Ruffalo's taken over, which as an actor, I think he's perfect.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
Maybe even better than Norton. I think Norton's a better actor, but Ruffalo might be better than Hulk. This has kind of got a brooding thing to him. He looks dangerous, but at the same time, he can play not weak, but just sort of like
vulnerable.
Vulnerable. There you go. That's it.
Convoy dude wants you to retweet.
I will retweet.
I know what to do, Sinestro.
Yo, John Hendry 969. I think you can get a shout out right there. Ba-bam.
So that's what I think of those 3 movies. What about you? What are you thinking about the ones coming up? And what do you guys think?
I'm excited for the reboot of Amazing Spider-Man. I'm a bigger Batman fan than I am a Spider-Man fan in the comic sense and in the movie sense, but I feel like Chris Nolan is kind of too big for his own britches at this point. I think he's going to try and do too much with Dark Knight Rises. That's just going to make me be kind of like, now Batman's lame. And if Chris Nolan makes me not like Batman, I will murder him.
I'm okay.
And I don't mean that as a joke, and that's not. I will go to his house, break in, and kill him in his sleep, just like Batman would. If Batman killed people.
Hey,
so you owe me one. Get the police out of here. Go save the Citadel.
thank you.
But I'm really excited for Spider-Man as well. I think, I really like Andrew Garfield. Emma Stone, I can't go wrong with. And Dennis Leary's in it, who's one of my favorite comedians. What was the other one we were talking about? Oh, Avengers. Avengers I'm super pumped for. I've been pumped from Avengers, but I'm only pumped for Avengers, honestly, because of where they could go with that series. Like, if they do a couple of Avengers movies and then they do a Civil War movie, I will, cream my jeans.
Well, see, this is what's so exciting about that, is they're doing the Avengers, and they've already announced Iron Man 3, Thor 2, Captain America 2. So these, it's not going to be a finale. It's just a giant crescendo, and these characters still have a lot more to do.
Yeah.
And one of the things with the Marvel Studio productions, if you sign on to be a main character in one of these Marvel Studio
You're in it
movies,
for like 5 or 10 movies.
You've got a 10-movie contract.
That's great.
Now, that means, like...
Oh, no!
Oh,
Did I die?
You died.
Oh.
Like, you see, like, Samuel Jackson has been in, like, all 5 of the movies that have come out so far. So that's 5 of his 10 movies. And he can re-up. It's a... cameos count, too. But, yeah, 10 movies each. That's their contract.
That's
now, that
insane.
doesn't mean they're all going to definitely be in 10 movies, but their contract says 10 movies. So
It doesn't mean they'll be in 10 movies in a row.
Yeah.
But they will be in 10 movies.
Yeah, in some form or fashion. Or it could be less than 10 movies. It's just whatever makes sense for the story. But they have up to 10 movies, which is exciting because then you can potentially do a trilogy with each, and maybe even another trilogy of Iron Man. Like you can have, you know.
Well, I don't know if
7, 8,
I'd want
9
to see another trilogy with Iron Man, because honestly, with Iron Man, there is only so much you can do with Tony Stark.
They haven't touched on the Demon in a Bottle stuff yet, and I think they can still do.
I think they kind of did a little bit in the last movie, not nearly enough. But you know, War Machine still has to become a villain, which I'm really excited to see, especially if they keep Don Cheadle with doing Rhodey, because I love.
He's great.
I love the character. I like Don Cheadle playing him. I think Terrence Howard looks more like Rhodes, but Cheadle's got the attitude he needs. I'm going to smash you into this wall.
Someone asked if they know who's going to be the main villain in Avengers.
What?
They're little shorts that Marvel's doing that star Clark Gregg, who's Agent Coulson.
Okay.
Well, no, he's doing 2 of them. As I read it, that this whole thing was around his character. But I mean, yeah, as a structure, you can do anything with it. But yeah, basically these are little short films that they are producing that sort of fill in some of the gaps in between some of these movies. One of them is called The Consultant. There's a clip for that online. That'll be on the Thor DVD. And then the other one they've announced is called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to Thor's Hammer.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's
puns.
It's a clever title, which is obviously going to have something to do with Agent Coulson trying to get
at
to
the end
Mexico.
of Incredible Hulk. Was it? Was that the one where they found the hammer at the end of it? Iron Man 2, right?
Yeah. So that'll be cool. Someone I've seen do Tron please a bunch. I think that'll be next. We haven't done Tron on a movie game day yet.
Yeah.
We'll do Tron next. Let's look over at Justin for a second. We've got Shoot Kill Repeat says, "Did you know there will be a Deadpool movie next year?"
I hope there is.
I hope that happens. I think that's in flux at the moment because Ryan Reynolds obviously did Green Lantern, so they are deciding whether or not they still want him to do Deadpool.
I think they want him to do Deadpool. I think he's signed on.
Oh yeah, no. The question is on a studio level because Green Lantern didn't succeed. If it's smart.
Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, Green Lantern didn't succeed not because of him. I mean, he was very clearly trying to carry that movie, and he was doing a good job of it. Just the movie itself was so bad.
Yeah.
And honestly, like I shouldn't even say that because like parts of it were fun, but you know the effects, everything that Brett put it really well to me. Everything that was in space was awesome. Everything that happened on Earth sucked.
Yeah. Well, that's fair. And then over here we got Mikey Warrior. Why don't they make any Call of Duty games based on Revolutionary or Civil War?
They did that. It was called Darkest of Days.
Ooh,
it wasn't Call of Duty, but it was still pretty bad.
Yeah, it's something they've tried before. The Distant Man over in YouTube
What am I doing? What's
says,
this?
It's a toss-up with Dark Knight Rises and Avengers because with the Avengers we've had 5 movies hype up the Avengers, and now that all these movies are done, Marvel can make the best comic book movie ever. However, with Dark Knight Rises, it is a really hyped sequel to arguably the greatest comic book movie ever made, and Nolan has a lot to do to not disappoint the fans of the last movie. So in the end, it's what the box office is going to say. I disagree slightly with you, and I will explain that disagreement in the next video, which for you, luckily, is moments, mere seconds, really.
Right.